Have you ever noticed something strange about your own mind? You sit down to do something important. Maybe it's work. Maybe it's studying. Maybe it's something you've been postponing for days. You open your laptop. You prepare to start. And then something curious happens. You suddenly feel the urge to do something else. Maybe you check your phone. Maybe you scroll through social media. Maybe you watch just one quick video. Just 5 minutes, you tell yourself, but those 5 minutes slowly become 30. Then, an hour. And by the end of the day, the task you promised yourself you would do is still unfinished. Most people think this happens because they are lazy, but the truth is far more interesting. Your brain actually likes procrastination. In fact, procrastination is not simply a bad habit. It is something your brain was almost designed to do. And understanding why this happens might completely change the way you see your own behavior. Because procrastination is not really about time, it's about how your brain deals with discomfort. Whenever you face an important task, your brain begins to calculate something. It asks a simple question. Will this feel good? Or will this feel uncomfortable? All of them offer something your brain loves: instant reward. You see, the human brain evolved in a very different world. For most of human history, survival depended on immediate decisions. Finding food, avoiding danger, seeking pleasure. The brain learned to prioritize things that delivered quick rewards, because quick rewards often meant survival. But the modern world is very different. Today, the most important tasks in life rarely give immediate rewards. Studying for an exam, building a career, starting a project, learning a new skill. All of these things require effort now, for results much later. And your brain doesn't like that deal. It prefers something else, something faster, something easier, something that gives a reward right now. This is why procrastination feels strangely good in the moment. When you avoid a difficult task, your brain experiences a small wave of relief. The pressure disappears, the discomfort fades, and in its place comes something pleasant. Dopamine. Dopamine is often misunderstood as the pleasure chemical, but it is actually the chemical of motivation and reward. Whenever your brain expects something enjoyable, dopamine rises. Social media notifications trigger it. Funny videos trigger it. New messages trigger it. Even the possibility of entertainment can trigger it. So when you choose between two options, starting a project, cleaning a room, these things are rarely painful, and yet your brain still resists them. Why? Because the brain is not reacting to the task itself. It is reacting to the emotion attached to the task. Some tasks trigger subtle psychological discomfort. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of not doing something perfectly. Even the smallest possibility of failure can make your brain feel threatened. And the brain hates threats. So, instead of confronting the task, it quietly guides you somewhere safer. A video, a message, a quick distraction. Anything that removes the uncomfortable emotion. And here's the strange part. When you procrastinate, your brain actually rewards the behavior. Because it worked, the discomfort disappeared. Relief arrived, so the brain learns something important. Avoidance equals safety. Avoidance equals reward. And the next time you face a difficult task, avoid, escape, feel better. Over time, this pattern becomes stronger. What started as a small habit slowly turns into an automatic response. You don't even think about it. Your brain simply reacts. Task appears. Discomfort appears. Escape begins. And in the modern world, escape is easier than ever. Because we live in the most distracting environment in human history. Never before has the human brain had access to so many instant rewards. Your phone alone contains more entertainment than entire cities had just a few decades ago. Infinite videos, infinite scrolling, infinite novelty. Every swipe offers something new. And novelty is one of the brain's favorite triggers for dopamine, which means every scroll trains your brain to expect quick stimulation. And the more your brain gets used to these fast rewards, it is a mismatch between an ancient brain and a modern world. Your brain was built for survival, not productivity, not long-term planning, not endless digital stimulation. And when these two worlds collide, and that fear operates quietly beneath the surface of your thoughts. One of the most surprising truths about procrastination is that it often appears when something actually matters to you. If a task feels meaningless, the brain usually ignores it without much conflict. But when something feels important, what if other people judge your work? These questions create a form of psychological tension, and the brain has a simple strategy for dealing with tension. Avoid it. So instead of starting the task, your brain looks for a temporary escape, and that escape feels harmless at first. You tell yourself you will start later. You tell yourself you just need a short break. You tell yourself you work better under pressure anyway. But beneath these explanations lies something deeper. Your brain is protecting you from emotional discomfort. Perfectionism is one of the most common hidden causes of procrastination. When people want something to be perfect, the starting point becomes terrifying. Because the moment you begin, the possibility of imperfection becomes real. And the brain would rather delay that moment than face the possibility of disappointment. So procrastination becomes a shield, a way of protecting your self-image. If you never fully try, and the more tasks accumulate, but the avoidance creates more discomfort later, and yet the brain still chooses the same strategy again. Why? Because the brain prioritizes immediate emotional relief over long-term well-being. It solves the problem of the present moment, even if that solution creates problems in the future. From the brain's perspective, that makes perfect sense. The brain evolved to handle immediate threats, not deadlines weeks away, not projects months away, not long-term goals. Those are modern inventions. Your brain is ancient. It was shaped by environments where survival depended on what happened today, not next month. So when the brain chooses quick relief over future success, some people try to defeat procrastination by forcing themselves to work harder. But brute force rarely works for long, because you are fighting the brain's natural instincts. A more effective strategy is something much simpler. Lower the emotional resistance. Instead of thinking about finishing the entire task, and once momentum starts, something interesting happens. The emotional barrier begins to disappear. The task no longer feels dangerous, and the brain slowly shifts from avoidance to engagement. This is why many productive people rely on a simple principle. Start before you feel ready, because action often changes emotion. Not the other way around, but there is one final insight that might change how you see procrastination forever. Your brain does not hate productivity. Your brain simply loves comfort. And comfort is not always your enemy. Sometimes procrastination appears because your mind is overwhelmed. Sometimes it appears because you are exhausted. Sometimes it appears because your brain genuinely needs rest. The challenge is learning the difference between rest and avoidance. Rest restores your energy. Avoidance drains it. Rest feels peaceful. Avoidance feels heavy. Understanding that difference is the key to working with your brain instead of against it. Because your brain is not broken, it is simply trying to protect you from discomfort. But growth often requires stepping slightly outside that comfort. Not through force, but through understanding. And once you understand how your brain works, a message from your mind telling you that something inside the task needs attention. Maybe the task feels too big. Maybe the pressure feels too high. Maybe the fear feels too real. But once you see the mechanism behind procrastination, it is the moment just before you begin. And once you cross that invisible line,